Hey everybody, excuse me, and welcome to another draft video I'm putting together. 2 in 1 week, what do you know? This first pack has cards of only 3 colors. It has green, white, and blue cards and a couple artifacts and some lands. Cards that are jumping out to me are the Travel Preparations and the Mind Shrieker. Mystics is fine, Dark Thicket Wolf and Ambush Viper are both good, but I think the 2 best cards are the Mind Shrieker and the Travel Prep. I'm going to take the Mind Shrieker. I think it sends a better signal passing on the screen. And I might even be able to... I don't know what I'd be able to wheel. Maybe like a Traveler's Amulet or, I don't know, Sensory Depth. I have a feeling the next few cards to go will be Prep and Mystics and some combination of like Dark Thicket Wolf, Think Twice, Ambush Viper. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think I'd like to get into red if I get the opportunity. But of course we are past more white cards and a Moorcrut Banshee. Forbidden Alchemy is also a consideration, but I think the pick is probably Slayer. I think it's better than Gallows Warden, although Gallows Warden is fine, it's just a 3/3 flyer. We have passed a lot of green and white, so I might get cut in pack 2 on white. I should also say this Harvest Pyre is a consideration, but I just think Slayer is a more powerful card, and I can splash it. We're not necessarily committing to white by taking this card. Yep. And here come the red cards. Okay, cool. There's a Heretic's Punishment. This card's pretty absurd once it gets online. It goes well with the Mind Shrieker if I'm trying to mill myself. I mean, this is also a good mill myself card. This is a mill myself card. Rage Thrower is excellent. Geist Flame is good. I think I'm going to try to do a Burning Vengeance deck if it happens here. Just because the Punishment and the Mind Shrieker can both mill me, and I'll probably wheel like this Dream Twist here. So we'll take the Punishment and cross our fingers that we see a Burning Vengeance. Instead, we are past a Neonate, Cloistered Youth, Hamlet Captain, and a Rebuke. I don't think we can take the Hamlet Captain, although it might be the best card in the pack. I think we haven't seen a whole lot of good blue, I guess. I mean, what else was in that last pack? I don't know. But I think the pick comes down to Rebuke or Cloistered Youth, and we need to look to play white. We can try to tempo people out with the creature, or we can take just like a removal spell. I've had this thing like Claustrophobia or Bonds of Faith once I flipped it a few too many times. I'm going to take the removal spell. I don't like Rebuke a whole lot, but I think it's probably a safer pick. Alright, and we're rewarded here with a 5th pick Gallows Warden. I mean, not to say that this card is like a top 3 pick every time, but I mean, seeing it right now is a pretty good indication that white may be open. There's an Ironsmith here, which would also be good. Fortress Crab is fine, and the Griffin is fine as well. We just did a pick a card where I think I said I'd take Happy Griffin over Fortress Crab. But yeah, I think I'm going to take the Warden, and we still need to figure out whether we're going to be blue or red paired with these white cards I keep taking. But it looks like I'm going to keep taking white cards. I have to choose between the Sentry and the Bell Ringer. Right now I'm not... Let's do a Cost Sword. I mean, I'm not really sure if I'm an aggro deck or a control deck. It looks more like it looks more like a controlling build to me. That's for sure. But both of these cards are kind of fine in that way. I think the Bell Ringer is a little trickier. I do like a 5/4 Trampler though. He can get there pretty often. This is a tough pick. I'm not exactly sure what I want. I mean, Sensory Depth should also be in the conversation, but I think I'm going to take Etude, just so I don't have to commit to blue yet. I'm going to take the Bell Ringer. Okay, so perhaps that was the wrong pick, because now we get to choose between Smite, Armored Scob, and Ashmouth Hound. Unruly Mom is fine, and so is Stitcher's Apprentice, but these other 3 cards are clearly better. If we want to go the aggressive route, Hound is good. Smite is just a good spell for the most part. I think we're okay on removal right now. I think I'm going to take the Ashmouth Hound and try to get into a red-white aggro build. Although, actually no, I'm going to take the Smite. It fits better with this Bellringer pick I made. But of course, then we get past Rally the Peasants. I guess I could take the Crab here, or the Curiosity, and kind of cement myself into a blue-white controlling build. I think this card is a little too good, and I think Heretic's Punishment is probably better than Mindstreaker, which leads me to want to play red instead of blue. We have made some like very control card type picks so far, but Rally can just win games out of nowhere. And if I'm in white-red, it's really good. Okay, so I take a Spare from Evil, a Sensory Dep, or a Mask of Avacyn. I think the pick is probably just Sensory Dep. Again, we still haven't. I mean, we could splash for the flashback on this and Heretic's Punishment if we really want to. Yeah, I think Dep's the card I want. But there's a Harvest Pyre. Okay, I think we're playing red. Yep, let's take that. There's a Desperate Ravens? Or Purebloods? I don't really like this card. Like, if I'm running this, I think that means that my deck is suboptimal. I mean, not that it's the worst card you could be running, but I think I'll take the Ravings. And who knows, maybe we'll get some creature tokens in the later packs. Take an Ancient Grudge for the sideboard. Gonna hide Sensory Deprivation. I'm gonna hide Intangible Virtue as well. I don't think that's a card we can play, as well as this Grudge. Man, maybe I can get into like a 3-color Burning Vengeance deck. That would be pretty sweet. Okay, pack 2. Well, I think this Mentor of the Meek is going to make it into our pile, but let's see, there are a bunch of other cards we could take, so let's talk about those. Rally, we already have 1, 2 might be overkill. There's another Bellringer here. Pitchburn Devils is great. Village Ironsmith is good too, but this guy can just bury people in card advantage if he gets online. I actually don't have all that many ways to trigger him right now. I have a Bellringer and a Mindstreaker. But if I end up in red-white kind of aggro deck, I think this guy will be fine. So, with the Mentor in mind, I think I'm going to take a Ironsmith here. It's too bad I didn't jump into green, I guess, instead of taking this Mindstreaker. I think a white-green deck would have been pretty good, despite the fact that we're probably going to get cut off this pack. There are some good blue cards here in Stitch Drake and Fortress Crab, but I think we just want to be playing red, so I'll take the Ironsmith. So here we get to choose between another Rebuke and a Geist Flame. I think the Geist Flame is better. We already have one Rebuke. This is a little more efficient. And it can go to the Dome, so let's take that. Okay, we have a Doom Traveler here, that's fine. On the most recent podcast I talked about how this was a riser for me, in the sense that I was just wrong about it. It's a good card. I should have been a little excuse me, a little more open to how useful it could be. And it draws as a card and Mentor of the Meek, so let's slam that. Ooh, this is kind of tough, actually. Basically, there are 2 red cards here that are fine. Crossway Vampires and Night Revelers, but they're both clearly outclassed by this Chapelgeist and the Geistcatcher's Rig. The Geist kind of fits our plan a little bit better, as far as being a white-red aggro deck, like trying to trigger this Mentor of the Meek. But Geistcatcher's Rig is just so good. There aren't many 2-for-1s in this format. We have one of them here in the Slayer, but I think I'm going to take the Rig. I mean, we saw a lot of white in pack 1, and the fact that this is here now leads me to believe that we're going to keep seeing a fair amount of white. Yeah, that's tough. Maybe this is better for curve purposes. Nah, I'm just gonna take the better card. I think take the rig. Okay, we have an Ashmouth Hound here, which is very good for us. It's a silent departure. That seems pretty late for that card. But yeah, the Ashmouth Hound is the card for us. If it wasn't in the pack, it'd be between Cathar and Revelers, and I'd probably take Cathar. And there's not a whole lot for us here. We can hate a Knot of the Bone. I mean, as good as this card is against aggro decks, people still don't really play it. So I'll probably just take the rare, get, I don't know, 0.2 tickets or whatever this card is worth. I'll hide that. I think it's time to hide the Mindshrieker as well. I don't think we can play that card, as well as the Desperate Ravings. Ooh, so I think Skurstag Cultist is this card for us here, although Hobbark is kind of interesting as well. If we had more like Doom Travelers or like a Mausoleum Guard, I'd be tempted to take this card, but I think I'd rather just have the Cultist. It fits a spot on a curve, and it triggers the Mentor. He's a fine dude. And the Pitchburn Devil's Wield. Crazy. Okay, so we could take another rally, but I think Pitchburn Devil's better. If we did want to splash blue, we'd consider this Amulet, but I think I'd just rather try and keep a consistent mana base, so I'm going to take the Pitchburn Devils. We could take another Ancient Grudge for the board, a Curse of the Nightly Hunt. I don't think we need more than one of these, and this card has been kind of lackluster for me. I think I'm going to take the Crab, just because I don't want to play against it with this deck. And we'll hide that. So we could take a Ghostly Possession, we could hate a Knot of the Bone, or we could take a Purify the Grave. I think there's a chance we'll run this out of the sideboard, so we'll take the Purify. Hide it. Wooden Stake, Lost in the Mist, Runic. This card, when it hits, is a total blowout, so we're just going to take that. And we wield a Night Revelers really late, that's fine. And the Boneyard one, crazy. Alright. Well, we're getting there.